What's good, y'all? It's your girl Alexis with Recap Sports Focus, and we got Coach Big Boss in the building.
It's Coach Big Boss, and we here with Recap Sports, where there is no cap.
And it's
And
all
we in,
fact.
yes, we in the building.
How you
A lot
doing,
of good
boss?
food. Man, I'm feeling great. A lot of good football to talk about. I'm busting at the seams. I'm excited.
Man,
It is
right?
truly football season.
Truly is. Like now we in the thick of it now. Right before
Yeah,
playoffs is about to come. These weeks gonna go by so fast. So
right,
looking
right. A
at
lot
all
of
the
hearts being
standings
broken.
now, I know a lot of it's gonna change after the next 2 or 3 games.
Ooh, a lot of hearts being broken right now. People are
Mhm.
realizing that it's over with. Ain't no coming back right now. If your
Yeah.
team is not getting ready for a playoff run, you're looking at 2 draft picks right now.
You are at the let's not talk about the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Cough,
yeah.
cough.
In fact, they just fired their coach tonight.
Mm.
They just fired their head coach tonight, Frank
News
Wright.
alert.
Yeah, he just got fired tonight. I feel they're letting the special teams coach be the interim coach. So, we kind of talked
So they
about
what
that
are they
on our
trying to do?
last
Follow
segment.
after the Raiders suit or something? Like,
Well,
well, we're gonna
I
find
don't think they're
something
quite.
and see if
I
it
don't think
works.
they're quite. The Raiders got a few more players than they got, so they don't have anybody. It's like a
Right.
JV football team right
Unfortunately. I I think that goes for this. A couple teams that's giving JV football teams right now in
now.
the A.
Yeah.
But tonight we are going to cover Sunday night's games and we're gonna cover Monday night's game because Monday night's game was lackluster. Wasn't giving
All
it.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That
let's
was like
go
that
ahead.
was like a flag football game.
It was non-scoring selves. Barely got anything. But let's go into the first game that we said we'll cover on Sunday, which was the Jaguars versus the Texans.
Woo-wee!
That was a
Woo-wee!
good game in Houston. I
Yes,
gotta
we
say, it was even in terms of what the quarterbacks were doing. I seen some fight in Stroud. I seen where he can go in the future. He kind of gives me vibes almost as like he has that fight like Jalen Hurts has.
right,
Where it's like
right.
they might not be in a good position, but he's gonna fight his way to make sure that they score something to either turn
Yes,
the
he looked.
game around or at least get close.
Got to give C.J. Stroud a big shout out. He looked so good. He looked like he'd been in the weight room all off season. He
Mm,
looked big and strong. He's got a strong arm. He so plays with so much confidence. I heard a story about him and that he had a family member. I think it was his father who was in prison and wasn't there to help take care of the family. And he said he's playing for his pops.
yeah.
And but I just was really excited about what DeMarco Ryan, the head coach, is doing with the Texans. Yeah, great football game came down to the wire. I thought the Jaguars were going to get the victory. They did get the victory, but you gotta respect those Texans down there. I mean,
You do.
Texans are here to play football.
They are. One thing I'll say, there's a lot of third and longs going on in the first half, but that just shows you like both of their defenses weren't coming to play either. So we can't just give it to their offenses. Like we gotta give a shout out to their defenses. But I think we knew the Jaguars had a pretty decent defense. I'm just kind of starting to see that the Texans, they're not half bad either. They're not the best, but they're not half bad.
Well, not a doubt. They don't have a lot of big time, NFL players down there, but they got
Mhm.
one of the big time NFL defensive coaches who is now the head coach of that team. He
Right.
only coached the San Francisco 49ers, and that's how he got his job. He had one of the number one top defenses for a couple years, and
Hmm.
he's truly took in his strategy and his expertise down there with the Texans. They're a sure tackling team. You don't
Yeah.
see a lot of broken tackles with them, and they're confident and they play. They're not scared. The Jaguars came in there with a 4-1 on the road record, and the Texans wasn't scared of them. Texas
They
came
weren't
in.
phased by any records. They still
You
showed up like this is my field. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
straight
Granted,
up.
granted they didn't win only by a field goal, but they definitely fought like they weren't going to get punked just because the Jaguars are 4-0, because they also had a record of their own where they had just won 4 straight games. So it's like they were both coming in there with something that the other team could have said that was potentially intimidating. You know,
Right.
it was
I
just
thought it
different
was two evenly
structure.
matched teams,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad we saw some good football. They fought. They both fought each other until the last. It came down to what we said it would be. It came down to a field goal. And it was just an
Yeah.
awesome game. What was the final score?
Final score was 24-21. What was our
Yeah.
prediction?
Well, I said 31-26. You said 28-24. But you went with the Texans, though.
I did, but I wasn't too
Yeah.
far off.
No, you were closer than I was with the 31-26.
I
But we
knew
both
it
kind of
was gonna
knew.
be that type. I knew it was gonna be that type of game. I was like, it's gonna be either like a 3-4 point difference in whoever
Yeah,
wins. The Texans really could have had it though.
yeah, yeah.
They really could have
They,
had it, but they missed that field goal that could have tied the game and potentially got them into overtime. And then it's like they missed, what was it, a 58-yarder? I
yeah,
believe.
it hit the upright. That
Yeah,
was
like it was spot on where it needed to be, but it was short. And it was like,
straight
it's
down
a
the
wrap
middle.
for y'all.
Yeah, he had a leg just getting it there. But
Right.
the 50-50 ball went the Jaguars' way,
Hmm.
so it
And
goes
then
that way. So
Josh Allen, he had what, 3 sacks for the
yeah,
Jaguars?
the big fella got on a roll
He
after a while.
was.
I don't understand how the offensive line broke down with the Texans, but it just seemed like a little inexperience of C.J. Strauss because he could have ran, but he
Yeah.
took the sack. And yeah, the big guy Allen, man, he was flexing his muscle. I say, uh-oh, you
That's
know.
the one thing I think CJ Stroud needs to work a little bit more with his legs, where
Yeah,
it's the same thing that happened with even a couple of other quarterbacks in the NFL. It's like if you feel like there's nothing open or wide open for you while you're in the pocket, then run. Get a couple yards. You ain't got it. We ain't asking you to get a first down, but if you get one, great, but just get a couple yards.
right. You
Get
called
out
it.
the pocket though, because
Yeah, don't sit here too long.
the last defense you want to face up and staying in the pockets with the Jaguars.
Man, hey, there's some freight trains coming this way, man. Get out of here. Throw the
Exactly.
ball away. You're going to learn, C.J. Stroud. And it's the NFL. You're going to learn. You're going to get a little bit more, poise in that backfield. You're going to know either get that ball out of your hands, either run or throw it away.
Yeah, and
You
I feel
know,
like that's any new quarterback's issue though, is always just learning how to work with those legs.
got to learn how to get out of the pocket. There was a time when the NFL wanted the big, strong arm quarterback, the six
Yeah.
foot three, 6'5" quarterback, but they couldn't really run well. So now they got the shorter quarterback. They may, got the big hands, so they got great arms, but they can run the ball.
Yeah.
NFL's leaning more now to the running quarterback. That's an extra running back in the backfield.
Right.
So
So it's like football is already starting, but it's going to continue to look completely different in terms
yeah,
of
it's
who they
transition
recruit.
like everything else. But shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars on a great game. I thought both teams did well.
Yeah,
Shout out
like
to Jaguars.
Stroud was able to get away from a couple of blitzes. You know what I mean? But still,
Yeah,
like keep working on that though. Just getting out the pocket.
that's right.
Okay, let's move on. We got the Broncos versus the Browns. Broncos won 29-12. Okay, Russell Wilson looking
Well, look
looking
at
like
here.
himself again.
Yeah, look at here. You called that one. I said the score would be 24-17. You said 21-14. So we both kind of was in the same area, you
Yeah,
know.
it wasn't off.
Yeah, no, we weren't too far off. But the only problem was
But
I
you
said
said the
Browns, you said
Browns were
Broncos.
gonna win because of
Yeah, I thought the Browns were gonna win. The Browns, I was shocked. The Browns did not play like the Browns. I don't know what was going on with you. But what's going on with you, Cleveland up there? You guys looked like you did not come to play football.
but I
It
think
wasn't.
I think Sean Payton knew my job is on the line.
Well,
Let me correct my mistakes. Russell Wilson, I wouldn't say his job was on the line, but I think he really had to have a come to Jesus moment of I need to get my stuff together.
I think
Because
you're right. I think both of the jobs were on the line. Because he's playing like a bat out of honey these last 4 games.
right.
And I even watched him do a quarterback bootleg. He runs like an old man now. But that old man was
But that
moving.
old man could still run.
That old man was moving,
And
and he really looked polished.
that's all we could ask for.
Man, he's got to be thanking Sean Payton. Sean Payton is the savior for Russell Wilson. He revitalized
You think
his
so?
career.
You think
Yeah, well, he was playing horrible last year. He stuck the joint up. He was playing horrible all last year. This year, he started off looking horrible. Sean Payton comes in, and what a difference a day makes. They took it straight to
yeah.
Cleveland. It
So it
looks
took
like
so
Cleveland.
basically it took some time.
Yeah, well, he needed to get a coach that understood his skills and
Hmm.
what he could bring to the game. That's why they brought him in there for the big
Yeah.
play, for the quarterback who can, get out of a few, sacks and not just take the sack so easily. They
And
brought
let's
him in
be
there
for
for the
real,
big.
Sean Payton, the name Sean Payton, you want to see it next to a great quarterback. Let's be for
Yeah,
real.
we saw what he did down in New Orleans. We
Right.
saw what he did with Drew Brees. You know, we
Yeah.
turned Drew into a Hall of Famer.
Right.
So
So I'm
so
definitely starting to see a little bit of life into the Broncos offense. And once they were getting to the edge, they were pretty much unstoppable. That's a lot what I
Broncos
was noticing in their running game. I was like, okay, we got something working.
Broncos, they got a pretty balanced attack, but what I was most
Mhm.
impressed with was their defense. I mean, again, you got a team full of guys who, you got some second and third rounders coming in the game, playing with confidence, with
Yeah.
sure tackling in open field, and I saw the spirit of the Broncos come alive on Sunday. They were
Yeah.
decided they're gonna play and get some respect on their names. They told the Browns, man, we don't care nothing about the doghouse. This is, this
Because
is
it
Broncos.
has been some hype around the Browns. So that was something, people probably like just like you, probably just automatically like, oh yeah, the Browns got the game. But it's like, nah, you can't
Well,
roll
I
it out
mean,
just like that.
that's why I thought it would be a close game. I didn't think they were just going to run away with it. But
Hmm.
I figured the Browns got the number one defense in the NFL, but they did not play something. I don't know what happened. It's almost as if they were afraid of Denver. And I don't mean physically, I mean that they had no way to stop them. So they just kind of like was deer in the headlights. I don't understand
Hmm.
what was going
So
on
then
with
the
the
question
Cleveland
becomes, are
Browns.
they really the best defense?
Well, I mean, their stats prove it. The way they get after the ball proves it. But I mean, you can have a down game. We definitely gonna have to look at the next game they play.
Right, and pay attention and see are
Yeah.
they who they say they
So,
are.
did you get? I don't know, Cleveland. Did you get exposed? We're gonna find out.
But see, which we'll get to those other games, but there are a lot of teams that are good teams, I would say, are getting exposed right now in the season.
That's what's so good about this time of the season. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Now you
because
see everything.
you've seen it. It's pretty much not new. It's just about smash mouth football now, mano a
Mhm.
mano. Who has the talent? Who's going to step up? What team can go deep down the bench and get someone else to fill in? Injuries are going to start popping up.
Yeah.
Who's going to come in and want to believe in their team and what the coaches, what kind of program the coaches is teaching the team and what what they want to run. You have to believe in yourselves, and so
I,
you can't
I
have
have a
letdown.
question then, Cuzzo. What do you think of Amari Cooper with the Browns? Like, I think he
Well,
still
I was
has it,
disappointed.
but I'm
He
like,
he 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 was
are
one
the
of the
Browns a
reasons,
fit for him?
huh?
I'm just wondering if the Browns are that team that he needs to be with.
Well, he is if they have their starting quarterback. The starting quarterback got hurt. The starting quarterback. He's out right now. He had the big controversy coming in because of the court cases that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he came back and he got injured. And so now, Amari Cooper doesn't have that strong arm, someone to look for, but he dropped a couple sure balls.
He
I mean,
did yesterday, but I was just like, I don't feel like he's getting utilized
yeah, this quarterback
to
doesn't
what
have that.
greatness that he's capable of.
Quarterback doesn't have good timing with it. See, that matters a lot too. When a new
Yeah,
quarterback,
and that's
look
something
at
they need to
Devontae
practice.
Adams with the Raiders. This new quarterback threw to Devontae Adams 2 times the whole game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I mean, he was looking at that guy like, what is your problem? You know, when
Yeah.
quarterback doesn't have timing with the star receiver, there's a problem. And if he's a backup quarterback, he's used to throwing to the second and third string receivers. He's not used to working on time with the starters. So now, you got a backup quarterback in there for the Browns. And Amari Cooper's the star receiver, and he's not getting the ball. And when he is
And,
getting it,
and then the
that attitude,
Browns, I mean, their yards per play, 3.8.
yeah, that's horrible.
Come
That
on.
that's
I mean, the
that's
Broncos wasn't that much better because theirs was 4.7. So it was just like, I mean, hence why their total yards wasn't really all that impressive, even for both teams.
well,
So
4.7 is not bad because you want to get 10 yards for a first down, right?
no, but on average, from what we usually see, Cuzzo, it usually be like 5.5 and up. It
Well,
usually be
you
between
got a
five
good
and I
point.
usually see between 5 and 7.
You got a good point. It's according to what kind of team you are. But I'm saying it's not bad because if you do that twice, you almost got 10 yards. See? And the whole
Okay.
object of the game is to get Pittsburgh's even less than that. So some teams play
True.
ball control. The Browns, they all in that same division. That division
Mhm.
is always 500 ball club division. They never really have a whole lot of victories in that
Yeah.
AFC East up there. So AFC Central, but
Both
yeah,
teams were fumbles, but the Browns had 3 fumbles.
yeah, it was a wet game. It started
Mhm.
raining a bit. It kind of just really got sloppy, but I got to give it to the Broncos. It wasn't sloppy for them. They were catching the same ball that the Browns were dropping and
I feel like it
fumbling.
was very spot on.
Yeah, well, the
It just looked better.
Broncos have something to fight for. They want to get in the playoffs.
They
And I
do.
don't know.
And
Y'all
Russell
better wake
Wilson
up.
is that type of quarterback. I wouldn't just outrule him. I think he still got some fight in him to try to make something shake.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
So stay tuned. Let's transition into the next game
All
since we
right.
kind
We
of
got
already
our
did
eye
it.
on you, Russ.
Right. We
Maybe
watched
it's
it.
Sierra. Maybe
Right.
Sierra's coming to the game.
Right. But since we already mentioned them, let's go ahead and transition to the Chiefs versus the Raiders.
The Raiders.
31-17. Now
The
let's please talk about our score that we were told was capped by my dad. Cause
Oh,
he
I gotta
scored.
say that. I gotta talk about that. You know, Coach Sally, he was like a bad a wire hanger that went to the left on us and said that me and Alexis was capping when we said the Chiefs was going to stomp on the Raiders. We both had pretty much identical scores. I said 31-14. She said 34-14. That's the same thing. That's a field goal. And what was the
Right.
final score? What was the final score, Alexis?
31-17. It's only difference
Oh,
is a
well, all
field
righty
goal.
then.
We were so
Wait,
spot on. We knew they were gonna lose even at home.
yeah, and you know
Raiders,
what?
did you really expect anything less? I know y'all loyal.
Yeah,
Y'all just like us fellow Cowboy fans. But let's be
yeah.
for real. Did y'all really think y'all was gonna take
Ain't
home this
nothing
game
like
from Patrick
come on.
Mahomes?
Ain't nothing like a Raider fan. Raider fans are nationwide. We respect the Raiders. I mean, I even miss the Raiders here in Oakland, California. But
Yeah, it's not the
Mark
same.
Davis, leaving Oakland, if I was you could have ran for mayor of Oakland. You should have stayed here. You had the number one team that will sell out every game, even in your losing seasons. I
Hmm.
know it's all about money. I know you want to get the sky boost and charge high rates, but you could have did that right here in this town. But no, you had to go on down there, and you're getting the same
Where the money
results.
talks.
Yeah, you went down there with it's showtime, right? That's okay.
And
But but I don't see a winning football team. Nothing has changed.
yeah.
Nothing has changed. This was simply mean you could have did that right here.
It's the Raiders
But
doing what the Raiders always do. They look good in the first half of the season, where it's like you see a little bit of spark. You're like, okay, the Raiders might do something. Then the second half of the season comes where they're playing good teams, and it's like, oh no, the Raiders aren't
yeah,
going again.
Raiders, Raiders
But it's
do
like, what is the? Then the question becomes, what is the issue then?
Raiders find ways to lose games. I've never seen a football program where they find a way. If it's not
Right,
a bunch
that's
of
all.
penalties, if it's not a bunch of penalties, it's a fumble at late in the game. If
Mhm.
it's not that, it's the defense that goes to sleep in the third or fourth quarter. If it's
Right.
not that, it's a bunch of wrong decisions on who's going to quarterback the team. And then if it's not that, it's just simply horrible football. I don't understand. I watched a guy today. We interviewed a guy today, and he clearly said, "How do you feel about losing as a fan for the Raiders?" He said it stinks. I was a kid in 2003 when we went to the Super Bowl
I
and we
remember that.
lost. He said, and we've been losing ever since. It's been 20 years. And
Because
now I'm a
didn't
grown
they play
man.
the Bucks?
Yeah, they play the Bucks. It's with Coach
I
Gruden.
remember that Super Bowl talking about we're going to Disneyland.
Coach Gruden left the Raiders, went down to Tampa Bay, taught the team everything the Raiders did, and they walked all over the Raiders. And some of the players said it was as if we knew everything they were about to do. Well, yeah, you
Predictable.
just
You
yeah, you
can't be
just had a
predictable
coach.
going into the biggest game of the season.
Well, I agree with you too. It didn't matter if the coach had coached there the year before. Why would you do the stuff that he already knows? Duh. I mean, but nevertheless, I was a little disappointed in the Raiders last night. You played a
Yeah.
good game up to halftime, and then you went to sleep again. Shout out to Crosby, fought hard.
And shout out to
Spillane,
Myers.
Myers,
Myers was
Jacoby
looking good.
Myers. I'm glad to see you still in the NFL, son.
Mm,
You know, the ex Green Bay Packer. He's down there with the Raiders.
Yeah, and I
And
mean, in the first half, I want to give a shout out to the Raiders defense because they did hold Mahomes back from getting anywhere to score. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, we started off good, but then it's like,
well, it's kind of hard if your offense doesn't do anything. Then the defense has to keep coming back on the field, and
yeah,
then eventually they get tired. But I'm
yeah.
just
It's
here to
like they
say
gave
something.
their all in the first half, and then they were beat in the second half. Because I mean, they did good things. Like they had a 63-yard touchdown in the second quarter. So it's like, okay, like look at the Raiders out here doing their big one, but then
Yeah, Josh,
they
he
choke.
yeah, Josh ran for a big one. He scooted and got somewhere. I don't know why you just don't keep feeding him the ball instead of running, through the two hole, through the one hole. Let him
Mhm.
go off tackle a little bit where he's a power runner where he's got speed. Whatever
Right.
happened to the good old off tackle run? It's just you got to find more ways to get him the ball. The
Yeah.
ball control, run through Josh Jacobs. The boy can run the football.
And
You're doing the same thing that they did. The man led the NFL in rushing last year, and,
but now
he's
that's
only
not
getting he's only getting
like it
like
went to
15.
waste this year.
Yeah, so
And then,
well,
The Chiefs defense was having issues, I would say, with stopping the running game at first. But
exactly.
I will give a shout out to Pacheco though for the Chiefs.
Checo runs hard. Checo's not he's a gamer. He's a
It
little guy too. He runs hard
right, but he's fast.
and he's fast.
Yeah.
Checo runs hard. When he gets that ball, he's hitting that hole so fast. I'm a big fan
Right,
of
because
Checo.
he was definitely helpful in getting them back on top in the third quarter. So I was like, okay. So I was like, but this is what the Chiefs do all the time, though. They're like the Eagles. They're that second half team where they can look slightly like a little bit above mediocre in the first half, and then the second half comes and it's like, oh, you're playing like you were in the playoffs or at the Super Bowl now. Okay.
Right, well, they're the world champions and they know how to
Hmm.
win. And they hang around
Right, they
long
got a
enough.
formula.
Right, they hang around. They know how to win it, and they keep fighting. They keep fighting. They believe in themselves. They believe in themselves. If you got to play 48 minutes of football with them, you don't think just because you're the scorers, you're 10, 12 points up of them that they're just going
Right.
to pack it in. They're not going to pack it in. They're going
But
to
you
play
know
you.
what? I will say what was good though, there were no turnovers.
Well, there no turnovers for both teams.
Both teams, Cuzzo, no
Yeah,
turnovers.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
Now I will give the Raiders
yeah.
credit for that because the Raiders
Yeah,
are turnover prone. So
and they didn't have that many penalties too. So it was just
they
like,
didn't Raiders didn't have any penalties. Only
that's unbelievable. I gotta give a hand clap to that. The Raiders with no penalty.
we gonna give you your
Wow.
props just a little bit, even though y'all lost. We
Yeah,
still gonna give you a little something, some little razzle
yeah. Well,
dazzle.
there's a lot. There's a lot goes into winning losses, and for the
Yeah, you
Raiders to
gotta you
have a
gotta take the
game,
highs with the lows.
yeah, for the Raiders to have no penalties, the team that leads the NFL in penalties every year. I mean, they're
Yeah.
historically known for getting penalties.
So I
I
guess
mean,
we can see. I say that so lightly. We can see the direction the Raiders are trying to go, but it ain't gonna happen this season. So y'all need to go ahead and hang that up. But
well,
I
it's
like
like
what they're doing that way. No turnovers, no penalties. I mean, they're just playing some clean football.
yeah, it sounds like some moral victory to me. You lost the game, but you saw some glimpses of what it could look like with just a little bit more, concentration on, their offensive side of the ball. Just having a more of a balanced attack as opposed to throwing, throwing, throwing. You gotta, and
Yeah.
maybe introduce some screens into your offense. Get get your running backs more involved, more halfback passes,
Yeah.
more quick outs. So yeah,
But they almost played identical football. So it's like the Raiders could have won this game. I mean, they looked identical because both of them had 58 plays. Both of them had 10 drives. Yards per play, 6.2. You know what I'm saying? Completions to attempts. They were pretty much almost identical. Raiders had 23 out of 34. The Chiefs had 27 out of 34. So it wasn't a bad game, but once they got that field goal in the third quarter and that was it, that just lets you know the Chiefs defense showed up a little bit better.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, let's find out what the separation. How many third down conversions did the Raiders get?
The Raiders 7 out of 14.
See, that's only 50% of the time that you. That
But it
means.
was 50% for the Chiefs. Only difference, it was 5 to 11.
Say what?
It was 5 out of 11 for the Chiefs, though. So
Okay,
it was like they were in their own ways, but slightly different. It was like a 50-50. That could have been a good game. It could have been. It could have looked the way the Bills versus the Eagles. It could have looked like that.
Well, but what that says is that 7 times out of 14 you had to punt the ball, right? And you said 5-11, so 6 times out of 11 you had to punt the ball for them for Kansas City. But
Right.
we just going to show when you gave the ball up, you didn't score though. You got the ball back 6 times, but you did not score. Kansas City got the ball back 7 times, but they scored. See, each time you punt the ball up and you turn it back, you give the other team an opportunity to score against you. And see, that's where the Raiders got to get better. You got to get into the red zone and put up more points. We see what Chicago did.
At least we have something specific that they could possibly work on, because it's like, what is the problem? Like, that's always the question, is like, what is the problem with the Raiders? What more can they fix, add, subtract? They done got rid of majority of their staff. Everybody benched the quarterback. So it's like, what's it gonna take?
Well, they obviously need better receivers. Mike Renfro is an old guy. He's not getting it done anymore. And they just need bigger, stronger targets. I mean, you got to give it to Jacoby Myers. He played well, but I mean, he's been in the league for a while. I mean, he has some sparks. I did like the way they went to the tight end, but they gave up one of the best tight ends in the NFL. I believe he was starting to have injuries toward the end. He's playing up there at the New York Jets. So yeah, maybe they can use some more receivers. Definitely need a QB.
Well, so you don't think there's any hope with O'Connell?
Well, I mean, he can't get you to the playoffs. See, yeah, I mean, give him 2 to 3 years, but that's a rebuilding. If you're trying to look to win now, you got to bring a veteran in if you want to win now. If not, then
I don't see the Raiders, unless somebody is a free agent that just falls in their lap. I don't see the Raiders going to try to recruit a veteran quarterback. I feel like they're going to try to put all their eggs in one basket on O'Connell.
Well, they got a veteran quarterback. His name's Garoppolo.
Well, you already know how they feel about him, because they're making it very clear, just like how the Patriots made it clear about Mac Jones. They do not like him. They do not like Garoppolo. They said you're disowned.
Did the Patriots sit Mac Jones down?
In the words of Mulan, dishonor to your family. They didn't kick them out and disown Garoppolo. I was like, I ain't never seen them bench quarterbacks like I have in this season of 2023.
Garoppolo, he'll be He'll be doing commercials. I guarantee you. You give Garoppolo 2 years.
Please don't
He'll
put
be
him
doing.
on a commercial. Ain't nobody looking for him.
He'll be doing Bud Light commercials.
Right,
Hey,
like
remember me?
the nastiest beer of all.
Yeah, he'll be saying, "Hey, you remember me? Yeah, I was the guy who got put out of the game, but now
Hmm.
I'm back.
They benched me, but
but now I'm back."
but now while I'm on the bench, let me sip on
Yeah,
on a Budweiser or something. Like, sir, good day.
but I still love the game.
Let's transition into the next game. We got the Bills versus the Eagles. That
Ooh
was a
wee.
37-34 into overtime, a hard fighting game that I think a lot of people just outruled the Bills, and the Bills could have won. Cuz of what you think?
Well, I think that that was a hard fought football game. I
Hmm.
think that the Bills could have been the victor. You know,
They
I
should have
actually
won that.
I chose the Eagles to win, but I was impressed what I saw from the Bills. I thought the Bills, you could have should have won this game. You know, Josh Allen, you know, you just sometimes play, you know, like a big time NFL quarterback.
Mhm.
And I mean, where was this at a week ago and the week before that? You know, I just really like the way you played.
He's an inconsistently good quarterback.
Yeah, and you know, well, excuse me, last week you had a big game, but the last 2 weeks before that, so maybe you're getting you know, you're getting your focus back. You slow down on your turnovers, but you played a big game. I really can't say they can't blame you for this one. Um, you know, sometimes I know as a fan, as a ex-coach, and as a fan, we
Mhm.
wonder why did you call that play? You know, I think
Yeah.
it was a 3rd and 3, and you throw the ball
When you could have ran.
when you knew you were going to go for it on 4th down. See, you knew you were going to go for it because you were losing, right? And
Right.
so you're in overtime, and then you go for it again, and you don't get the 1st down. So you have to kick a field goal,
But
right?
yeah.
I didn't understand that. I mean,
But let's
okay,
not
so
overlook how poorly the Eagles were playing in the first half.
well, they were playing poorly, but their defense kept them around. See, they
They
didn't let
did because
Buffalo.
their offense, Jalen Hurts was not impressive. 4 out of 11 for his completions to attempts.
Right,
4 out of
right.
11, and Allen had 19 out of 32. So that lets you know that the Bills had the ball way, way much more.
Yeah, what was the time of possession?
Their time of possession, I think I didn't get that time of possession. Let me see. Like
Yeah, the
in the
time.
whole game.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it seemed like
Oh
Buffalo
yeah,
had the ball.
The Bills had almost double what they had. It was 40 minutes that the Bills had the ball and 26 for the Eagles.
Yeah, they had the ball a lot, you know, but you weren't put. See, that's called bend but don't break. You
Hmm.
know, yeah, you're going up and down the field, but you're not scoring.
Not
And you
doing
can go
anything with it
right. You get an 80 yarder, but if you only get a field goal, the defense did their job.
because they had
See,
505 total yards, and then
yes, a lot of
when it
yards.
needed to count, like that would have been a good thing to mention had they won the game. Like 505 total yards, boom, boom. This was the score. Like it would have made sense then, but the fact that they didn't win, it's like, dang, you just served up some good empty calories.
Yeah, and like you said, they gave up 34 points, right? So
Yeah.
they gave up a lot of points. You know, the Eagles defense gave up a lot of points,
Mm-hmm.
but the offense made up for,
Because
you
Buffalo,
know,
I mean, Buffalo was scoring early in the game. I mean, 17 points in the second quarter. alone.
Yeah.
A huge bulk of where a lot of their points were coming from. But it's crazy because it's almost like their scores were almost slightly identical. Only difference is the Eagles were
Different
scoring
score.
those 17 points in the fourth quarter when they were
Right. And
trying
that's
to
the kind
save
of,
themselves.
but see, that's the team that you have to watch out for. You
Yeah.
know, that's a team that's trying to play in a championship where in
Yeah.
the fourth quarter, they're going to make their run. You know, a lot of teams try to put you away early in the game. But
Yeah.
when you got a fourth quarter team that's saying, hey, this game is far from over, we're going to come at the end. When you got a young quarterback like Jalen Hurts who can run as like he does and can pass, you better. He remind me of Mahomes a couple of years ago who could run and pass, and this kind of made a mockery out of defenses because you can't tackle him because he's a great open field runner.
He
And
is.
yeah, so
Clearly the way they won.
yeah, he's a nightmare right now. You
Yeah.
know, he's
For
a
now.
nightmare. And when they spread the offense, so they get the safeties out of there, spread the linebackers out by going four wide.
Because they were
And then what does he
scattered.
do? Yeah, what does he do? First thing he does is he takes off running. I said, wow. You know,
Yeah,
you
and
got to
it's
put a
like I
QB.
seen the Bills trying to correct some of their mistakes in the first half, but I feel like it just wasn't enough because I know they were trying to correct those third and longs because that was a major issue, but it's like you still didn't really get the job done. Then Bills had a turnover and then the Eagles scored and that's what got them in the lead. So it's just like,
Right.
I mean,
Well, you
work
know,
with us.
yeah, when the game took a turn, seems like to me at halftime. And I think that if you're playing these teams like the Eagles or like the Cowboys and the
Mhm.
Niners, you got to come out in the third quarter and the fourth quarter just like you did in the first quarter
Yeah, you got to
because
come with
they're
that
gonna make
same
it.
heat.
Yeah, they're gonna make the adjustments
Hmm.
and they're gonna make a run at you. And you know, championship teams and those teams in the fourth quarter that do their best football.
Absolutely. And I mean, we seen the Bills trying to do something in the fourth quarter, when they had those three drives that were giving them those first downs. But still, it would
Well, you know what it
they
seemed like
needed
to
to
me?
do something in overtime. That field
Bills,
goal wasn't going to be enough, and they knew that field goal wasn't going to be enough.
right? They were
The
just
moment you
hoping.
did that, you told Jalen Hurts, here's the game.
And that's what a young quarterback lives for. You know,
Yeah.
he lives for I got 2 minutes. You practice that as a kid in the
Yeah.
backyard. 2 minutes left to go on the clock. Can he go the length of the field?
The
Can he
big
stop
question.
me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Will he
that's
make a
what you.
comeback?
That's
Because everybody was saying it and talking about, like the commentators were talking about it, like,
yeah.
oh, well, Jalen Hurts, even the coach, the head coach was like, oh yeah, he'll make a comeback. Like I'm not doubting them. Although I think he did get a little nervous in the fourth quarter. He had to have gotten a little bit nervous.
Well, you know what's so funny is that some defenses choose to play what they call a prevent defense. Prevent to try to keep everything in front of them instead of letting you score right away.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll bag off the receivers. But to me, you're just giving them the football field. You
Yeah.
know, you know the whole idea is them to get close enough so they can take a chance at scoring.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you gotta. I just believe that is not smart. You got to play up on you. You got to make him. If you got a good pass rush, you got to make him put the pressure on him. Don't give it to him. So by you now,
That's and
your defensive
yeah.
line is not getting any help,
And that's
and
your
they're
number
double
one
teaming.
mistake. That's the last thing you want to do with Jalen Hurts.
Right, you allowing him to stay back there and pick you apart. He's not getting a good pass rush, so he's not pressured, and
Yeah,
you can
because
only
if
cover
you give him
people for so
time,
long.
he'll give you yards. So the two
Yeah,
things
so
that
he
don't
moved
mix.
exactly. So look how quick they move the ball downfield. And then it got to the point to where now they were close enough, and then a couple penalties moved the ball even further,
Mhm.
you know. And so now he got them close enough where he said, "Well, I can run it in from here," you
Ain't
know.
that something? Ain't that the most disrespect? He just
Man,
it
hey,
wasn't even like he really ran. He kinda jogged.
well, it was bad, but nobody was going to catch him because they spreaded the defense out. See, and that was
Yeah.
just good coaching. You know, it was just good coaching. I just thought they should have put pressure on him. You know, if you let him stay back there and score, you know, he's gonna beat you.
Look what you
I'd rather
did
get
in the
yeah,
first half. You were
yeah,
you
I'd
were
rather have
doing it.
yeah. You gotta play man up. You can't just give it to them. You gotta play man up. If they beat you, they beat you. But don't give it to
But
them.
at least fight for it. Like y'all were
Yeah, you gotta
fighting and then you lost it in overtime. And it's like, no, y'all still should have had that same fight like you did in the fourth quarter. Because I've seen that their time management was great. Like they were trying to have possession of the ball for majority of the end of the fourth quarter. But it's like, come on now. Overtime
yeah.
mattered, and y'all should have fought a little bit harder to get you a TD to end
Well,
that game.
Buffalo was playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win. See, it's a big
Yeah, it's
difference,
a
you know.
different. That's a different mentality.
Yeah, you can't play not to lose because now it's like
You're desperate.
it's like a desperate heart attack on every play. When you
Hmm.
should have just kept your foot down on the gas and dictated to them, you know, they were in your backyard. You know, you should have dictated
Yeah,
to them what you were trying to do. You
disrespectful.
know, yeah, but you let them celebrate on your field. You know, because that last touchdown to tie the game up. There's no way he lobs that ball, and he got away with a push off too.
Yeah,
AJ
they
number
did. I
84.
will say though, the refs was like overlooking a couple of penalties though too. Like I'm like, so this penalty was right in front of you, and you just his head was like the opposite direction, like the camera caught it. It's like, sir, so you ain't see this holding?
Yeah, you know, like I say, referees, if they wanted to, they can call holding on every down.
But it
We
looked
see
the
it.
way the camera caught it, it looked so strategic, like he was purposely not looking in that direction. Because how do you
Well,
not look?
I just want to point something out to you. Did you see what happened with Michael Parsons the last game? Michael Parsons got held like 10 times. Referee, one time the dude bear hugged Michael Parsons. The referee said, I said, you gotta be kidding me.
That's how they
Go
they,
shut
they they
up.
gonna do they gonna do the good teams dirty, the underdogs, but the good teams. So like your Dallas, the Bills, you know what I'm saying? They want to put some hype on the Eagles and all these big team names, the Niners and stuff like that. But when it comes to the teams that are actually playing good football, they want to cheat them every time.
Well, players and coaches are not allowed to talk about referees or they'll get fined, right? But we can, right here on Recap Sports Focus. Referee, you
Stop
suck.
capping and stop the cap. That's what y'all need to do. Y'all act like y'all
Yeah,
Ray Charles out there on that field when you know good and well
yeah,
y'all seeing
that's
these
straight up
penalties.
cap. You
Let's
saw
stop the
it.
cap.
Then you argue with the coach like, hey, the white hat had to call it. No, you saw it. Why you didn't throw the flag? That's just ridiculous. You guys
It
are
is.
playing too hard for you not to call those calls. That guy got away with a straight. He extended both arms in the end zone. It was clear on the UC and Trinitron. That's
Mhm.
why they made those things so the fans could see it. And you saw he pushed the guy. Well, I guess players are allowed to battle and grab each other's arms, receivers and defensive backs, but you can't extend your arms a full push. And then he caught the ball over his head for a touchdown. I would have threw that flag right through his helmet because that's a crucial call. This particular call is going to be determined whether they win or lose a game, and it's not fair
Right.
to the defender. To the defender, he's got just as much rights as the receiver does, and yet you
But
don't
but
make the
they
call.
don't, it's like they don't want to do that. it's like they don't give the same type of justice towards defense the way that they do offense. They baby the offense.
No, they baby the offense.
And it's
That's why I
ridiculous
like
at this
old
point. I feel like
football.
if you're gonna do it for one, do it for all.
But see, that's why I'm from the old school. That's why I like old football. Because if you even nearly touched it with the fingernail on that football, they used to tear your head off. Ain't wasn't no
That they do.
defenseless player. Wasn't no none of that. Boy, you clean your clock out there. But I mean, the guys wasn't afraid. They still played receiver. And it took a man to play that wide receiver though, because you get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, the game today is a little,
A little different.
tiddlywinks. But I still respect the game. It is what it is. I'm just speaking up my point, but I think you still got to be tough to play in the NFL because this is a
Absolutely.
man's sport. There's no doubt about it.
Yes. So
All
let's
right,
move on to the last game of Sunday night, which was the Ravens versus the Chargers.
Ravens
Let's be
versus
for
Chargers.
real, cuzzo. We knew the Ravens were going to win. However,
Yeah.
the part that I do find very frustrating is the Chargers have all these good players and do nothing with it.
Chargers don't have no chemistry. They have no chemistry, and their defense is not that good.
Somebody getting
You know,
fired though.
they got a good offense, but they don't have a really good defense.
Mm.
I like the quarterback. He's got a great arm, but it's just the defensive side of the ball. Final score was 2010 Baltimore. We both gave Baltimore a high score. I said 31-16. You said 38-17. We both
but
figured they were going to run
but
over the Chargers.
yeah,
But
but maybe because we ride the Lamar Jackson wave of when Lamar Jackson has his moments where he scores super high
right.
in a game, and then the following week comes and we're like, well, against this team, he'll do it again. Then it's like, no.
And the
It was
Chargers played them pretty good.
low scoring
And,
game.
yeah, they played them pretty good in the first half. It was low scoring game. I believe it was 10-13. It was 10 to
But
13 all the
not
fourth
until
quarter.
they didn't get but boss, they didn't get a touchdown until the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was 13-3 for the for the longest. Like they scored nothing in the second and third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore didn't score anything in the first quarter. So then that's where we're coming from about, defense started off doing something, but then it was like second quarter came, they took over. They made sure they scored every quarter after that.
Yeah, Baltimore is a tough team. They pride themselves on playing rough, rugged football. But I think that they were pretty matched on the tough side. Okay,
Yeah.
San Diego has a tough defense, but they, played. They didn't play mistake-free football, and their quarterback, he's just still not quite. He doesn't have good QB vision. I didn't understand why they should stick to a running game too. They got good running backs. Both they got two solid, strong running backs, but they tend to want to throw. Now he's got a strong arm, but he reminds me of Josh Allen. He's got a
Yeah.
strong arm.
Only
It's
did
like
yeah.
he
Like
throws a lot of picks. He throws the
four,
ball with a receiver.
four turnovers.
Yeah,
Jeez. Four
yeah,
turnovers.
because he tries to fit the ball in tight windows that aren't there. And then a couple tip balls. I think he had one
Yeah.
tip ball where somebody tipped in another receiver. But I don't know. We starting to see that big trend in the NFL where they just want to throw on every down now, and I think that causes a high turnover ratio.
Mhm. And I mean, the Chargers defense, they just couldn't really stop the Ravens. especially with their tight ends. Tight ends were very key. Like that's what was shocking too. They were going
Yeah,
for it was a
especially
tight
since
end type of game.
right. Well, especially since their starting tight end is out of for the season. For
Mm-hmm.
them to come,
They still did good.
yeah, they did pretty good. I like the call playing Coach Harbaugh, the
Mm-hmm.
calls that he made on offense. The Ravens, what are they, 8-3 now? The
They
Ravens look like,
they are 9-3.
9-3. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they must have got a bye coming up soon. They haven't had a bye yet. That's a
Nah,
good time.
that's got to be coming up pretty soon.
Yeah,
Cause
for them to have a bye this late in the season, that's good. They played 12 games without a bye. That's good.
yeah,
They
and
get a late season.
Mitchell was key for the Ravens today. Flowers,
Mm.
but Flower. I feel like Flowers is that dude that's always gonna show up for you. But he definitely got them that touchdown at the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I like the Ravens. I like the way they play football. They don't get to be on prime time too much, but we know that they have a history of getting into the playoffs and going all the way to the AFC Championship game. They got great
Yeah,
coaches. They've been there before. They won a Super Bowl. So we just have to keep our eye on the Ravens team right now. They're part of the bad boys in the East.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye out on them.
You wait to.
I'm still not sold, but we'll keep an eye out on them.
Well, there's two teams that it's just the teams that get after each other, and that's Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. See, so
Yes,
when that
yes.
when that game is being played, I will
That's
be
a rough
glued.
game. That's a game I always want to watch.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
That's
you
some
know,
hard football.
yeah, it's like the 49ers and the Seahawks, or the 49ers and the
Mhm.
Rams. They just historically don't like each other. So it gets chippy.
It
It's
does.
real chippy out there. So I look forward to seeing. Do you have their schedule?
Who, the Ravens?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me pull it up for us.
Yeah. Let's see what the rest of their season looks like. I know the 49ers got a big game coming up.
They have
What?
let's
Shout out to the
okay,
Ravens.
they play the Rams next. They're having their bye week now.
Right. This is their bye week.
So they will play the Rams on the 10th. Then they play the Jaguars. Then they play the Niners. Then they play the Dolphins. And then the Steelers. They got a rough. They got a rough Cuzzo. I'm going to keep it a
Yeah.
stack. They'll probably win 2 out of 5 of those games.
Yeah, and they got to play the Steelers. Man, the last
Only
game is.
one I'm going to say is a maybe is they may be able to beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Maybe. Heavy on maybe only because Tua, I don't trust Tua yet.
Well, it just seems like they
I'm not
just get
sipping Tua's Kool-Aid. I'm not there yet.
you're not sold yet. Hey, I,
Not
I
so
just
yet.
got to hand it to the NFL, the National Football League. You sure pitched some good teams against each other this year. This was one of the better schedulings I've seen in a long time.
I ain't never seen no back-to-back like that though. I'm like, dang, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. Well, I mean, besides the Rams, which is shocking within itself because you would think they would be doing much better, but
Well, I'm shocked that the Niners even play. We don't even usually play the Baltimore. We really don't.
yeah, so they better watch out too.
49ers got 3 tough games coming. You got Philly, then you got the Rams, and then you probably got Baltimore. Again, I mean,
If
that's like
the Rams are even going to be a
the
tough game,
Rams, but I
that
mean the
that's
Seahawks again.
debatable.
We got to play the Seahawks again after Philly. So It's gonna be a tough game.
I agree. So let's
Yeah.
move on to Monday Night Football. It was whack.
Oh, my.
It was trash. It was
Yeah.
cat.
I wish
Why
we
they
had
play?
that
Why they
thing.
play with us on this fine Monday evening like that
Yeah,
with a
I wish we
12-10
had that
game?
thing. You know
12-10.
that makes us. You know that thing that goes off when you start snoring. That.
I didn't
I
even
wish we
take
had that
notes.
sound effect.
This game is boring. I didn't even take notes on this game because it was so boring.
Yeah.
You couldn't do nothing. I mean, dang, Chicago couldn't score nothing but field
In
goals.
my Charles Barkley voice, that was horrible.
All they scored, they
Horrible.
won by field goals.
Yeah, yeah.
Let that
That happens
sink.
sometimes.
Let that sink in to the
That,
audience.
that
They
happens
kicked
sometimes,
field goals. So the kicker. So basically, shout out to special teams
but well,
because
Alexis, that happens sometimes, but at least you still see good play during. We didn't even see good
we didn't
play. It
even
was like
see good play.
how many times what was the third down comparison for each team?
Oh my gosh. It was 8 out of 18 for the Bears.
Whoa, see, that's horrible.
Then
That's 10 points.
hold on, it gets better. 2 out of 9 for the Vikings.
So that's
2
about
out
even.
of 9.
That's about even. One
Two.
punted the ball 7 times. The other one punted the ball 10 times.
Oh
Third down,
my gosh.
that's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible football. No third down conversion.
Horrible.
Oh, what did you say? 2 and 9, and what's the other one?
8 out of 18.
So
Essentially
out of 27,
over half for both of them.
yeah, out of 27 third downs, we only saw
26.
11. Okay, well, we only saw 11. That's less than half. That's like 40%. And that's horrible. You're not going
That's
to win any games like that. You're definitely not going to score.
no
But it was just a lackluster in the game. The tackling was
penalties. 7 penalties.
penalty, penalty, penalty.
76 yards for the Bears.
Yes, and that's almost 100 yards. And then how many for?
And then it was only 4 for the Vikings for 24 yards. But
Yeah,
then the turnovers, it was 4 turnovers for the Vikings. They were in
they
all of
both.
them were interceptions.
Yeah, they both.
4
Yeah, Josh Dobbs had a horrible game. Joshua,
I would
what
have said
happened?
this sounds so bad. Y'all couldn't at least have like one fumble in there. You just threw all of them were interceptions. Okay.
Well, he had 2 big games. We were riding high. They were putting you all on TV. Look like the savior has come. We got Joshua
Ain't doing
Dobbs
nothing.
traded from Arizona. Well,
Ain't
he
doing
was doing
nothing.
something. We won them a couple games. But you ran up against the hungry Bears tonight,
The Bears
and
weren't
you stumped
hungry.
them.
The Bears weren't hungry. The Bears were parched. That's the problem.
Man, well, thank God for the kicker.
Right.
You know,
Shout out to the kicker because I swear without you, y'all would have lost by 1 freaking point. 10-9.
yeah. Well, it was a
Wow.
great pass by Justin Fields. He threw a 40-yard strike. I'm not even going to go in on this game too much. It was the last play of the game. He was able to
Right.
get loose from, he ran for his life. He got sacked a few times. He fumbled the ball, I don't know how many times, but this particular time he got open. He got away. He was able to hit his tight end for a 40-something yard strike. He got him close enough to where they can kick the field goal. Other than that, the game had nothing to it. There was no great turning points. It was just, it didn't look too good tonight, Bears. I'm glad you got the victory, but between
It was a disappointing victory.
very disappointing game.
So now it is time. We gave them enough their 5 minutes of fame that they really didn't deserve. Let's get into the game predictions for week 13.
All right. All right.
Okay, so Thursday's game, we got the Seahawks versus the Cowboys.
Seahawks and the Cowboys. Oh boy.
It's
Seahawks and the
going
Cowboys.
down.
Oh, let me see. My prediction, I'm just gonna keep it simple tonight. Cowboys get the victory. I think this will be 4 in a row. Cowboys are playing too good of football. There's a mad breakdown with the Seahawks. I like Coach Pete Carroll, but like I said, the defense is old. Bobby Wagner and Brooks, those linebackers, guys are old. You don't really have a pass rush. I forget the guy's name who left the Cowboys and who's up there with the Seahawks now. He used to be a strong pass rusher, but he barely ever shows up. Yeah,
I think once
maybe I
people
think.
leave Dallas, I always say this, they never play the same.
Well, I think the score would be, let's say, 31-17. Yeah, I believe it's.
Really? You ain't gonna give the Seahawks no credit.
Well, 17 points. That's all they get. Man. It's
I
2
don't
touchdowns.
I
They
think
get
I
that.
think the Seahawks might get a little bit more than what you saying, because I don't know. I'm gonna say
How was that defense?
34. I'm gonna say 34-24. Cowboys got it though.
Okay, you give them another touchdown. All right.
Give an extra. I'm like, they're not in the words Stephen A. horrible. But
Oh,
I'll give them 24 points. 24.
all right.
So then
Okay.
for our Sunday games, we have the Lions versus the Saints first.
Well, I think the Lions are going to be trying to redeem themselves. Saints are
I
not
hope
playing
so.
good football. Derek Carr is down there doing the same thing he did with the Raiders. He's down there stinking up the joint. He threw a pick six within the 20 in the end zone, 20 yards. The guy took it back 80 yards. Same old Derek Carr. They got a backup quarterback who used to quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I can't think of his name right now. He's another Derek Carr. I'm sorry for the sake.
So it's like, why do people think he was going to do something with the Saints?
Well, I mean, he's got he's a solid quarterback. He's got a good arm. It's his thinking process. See, that's what they call it QB vision. Can you see the open guy?
Well, if
He
you
has a
can't, then
panic
that means
attack.
you're a horrible quarterback.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. It goes along with the whole thing. Yeah, he can throw, but he's a panicker. See, he panics, but you got to realize quarterbacks are hard to find. So if he's a professional, he's been in the league for years. He gets you 2 or 3, 4, 5 games, and then he'll spaz
Mhm.
out for the big ones. So he's better off to somebody who can't get you none. And that's just what they got to go with. He knows all the ins and outs of the game. He's smart. He can. But when it comes to poise, that poise is the biggest thing. Can he
So
concentrate? Can he see the open receiver? He's blind as a bat when it comes to an open receiver. Then he's always overthrowing people. He's just
Mhm.
well, Derek Carr. I'm not a big fan of Derek.
Doing what he does best, which is why
Yeah,
I'm giving them the score that I'm giving them. 28-17 Lions got it.
yeah. You man, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna say Lions 28-17.
Let's see where that rock.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow that cat.
Because I just don't see the Saints going doing much.
No, no, say, and they got to go to Detroit too. So
Exactly. So that
no loss. Sorry, who that talking about
no,
being the Saints?
that's a Saints stadium game. They'll be at in New Orleans.
Okay, they're gonna be in New Orleans.
Hmm.
Well, who they talking about beating them Saints? Detroit. That's who.
Right. Stay tuned because it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So next we have the Broncos versus the Texans, and this will be in Houston. I think it's gonna be a good game.
Yes, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna come. This is another one of those close games. It's gonna come down to the wire. I think the Texans are gonna win. I say the
You
Texans,
do.
yeah, 26-24. Yeah, I believe the Texans. They just came off a big
Um,
loss. I believe the Broncos are due for a loss right now. They've been playing with house money, playing way over the head. Here we
mm-mm.
go.
So I'm saying that the Broncos are gonna win, and I think it will be 30-24.
You think the Broncos are gonna put up 30 points? All right. Okay, Lexus. Somebody likes Russell Wilson. Okay, we gonna
I'm
see.
rooting for him. I think he's still got a little. He's still got a little life
Yeah.
left in him. He ain't on life support.
Well, you gonna be playing against a solid defense this time. Yeah, we see. All righty.
So next
All right.
we got the Browns versus the Rams, and this will be in LA.
Yeah, this is another stinker right here. I hope the Browns rejuvenate themselves. Hope they
Same.
realize they stuck the joint up. They go in the locker room and talk to each other. What the heck just happened out there? I hope they go to the Rams and take it out on the Rams. I'm not a big fan of the Rams anyway. I say the Browns are going to win 30-15.
Okay, we're not too far off because I do agree that the Browns are gonna win, but I said 24-13.
Okay, okay. So I give them a little extra touchdown, but yeah,
Yeah,
I believe the Browns gonna stick it to
I feel like it's just
them.
gonna be a field goal kind of day for the Rams
Right,
against the Browns defense.
right. That was probably the best trade that the Detroit Lions could do. Get Jeff Goff out of there and have him come on up to Detroit and have the quarterback that was I'm looking at him right now,
Hmm.
who is now quarterbacking for the Los Angeles Rams. He is right where he need to be because he's horrible. He's not a Derek Carr. He really is.
Yeah,
He's not playing NFL football right now. He's playing like a college.
yeah, and okay. So the game of the day, in my opinion, the 49ers
Ooh-wee.
versus the Eagles, and it will be in Philly.
Ooh-wee.
I
49ers versus
cannot
Eagles.
just get after I saw the way that the Eagles just played against the Bills. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that the Niners are going to take this win. It will be a close one. So I'm going to say this because it's going to be such a back and forth thing. I think it's going to be the same type of outcome like the Bills. So for this one, I'm going to say it'll be 31-27.
Ooh, okay, okay,
Niners got it.
okay, all right, okay. I think of course, we know what to look for going into the Niners,
Hmm.
going and playing against Philly. We know that he's going to try to run the ball. Hey,
Yes.
man, you know, they want to attack our corners because we got young corners, right? They know
Mhm.
our safety is out for the season. So
Unfortunately.
we pretty
Yeah.
much can tell where the areas that they're going to be attacking us. But we also have some of the best linebackers in football and the number one defensive pass rush. And so I don't think they're going to be running the ball. They got Swift in that backfield, so of course
They
they're going to
do.
try. They're going to try to balance that out. But I think the 49ers are going to win this game in an all-out fight. It's just so good for football to see the best teams play each other.
Yeah,
49ers
like
are going to win
the
this game.
top three playing each other. That's you always want to
Yeah,
see that game.
yeah, it's good. It's good football. 49ers 28-23.
Mm.
Yeah.
You don't think the Eagles gonna score nothing?
Well, they scored 23 points. You got the number one defense in the NFL now. But number two, or whatever they calling us, it's not. Hey, I think they're gonna try to score. But see, this guy can throw the deep ball, but that's going to be his Achilles trying to throw that ball. And we pick off passes. See, he's gonna find a rude awakening trying to go after these young defensive players, and we getting plenty rest too. Yeah, it's gonna be a good game.
Okay.
I look forward to it.
And then our last game, which will be the night game, we got the Chiefs versus the Packers.
Yeah. Now some would say that the Chiefs will probably run all over the Packers, but the Packers are playing good football right now. They believe in themselves. Jordan Love has got his confidence up. He's got a good coach.
That's cute and all, Cuzzo, but I don't think that's enough to go against Mahomes.
Well, I mean, why not? I mean, it's any given Sunday. And I didn't say nothing about who will win or lose, but what I'm telling you, it ain't gonna
So
be
you do
no
know what's
push-over.
up. You ain't gonna cap. You do know who gonna take it then. I just want to
Well,
make sure.
it definitely ain't gonna be no pushover. I think Kansas City will win the game, but I think they're in for a run for their money. I think this is gonna be a pretty good game. These two teams got history. I think we're going to be seeing this is going to be one of the finer games of the week, other than the 49ers Eagles game, because I think both teams are going to put up a lot of points.
Okay, I do agree with that based on my prediction, because I said 35-28, but the Chiefs are going to take it.
Oh, that's pretty good. 35-28. That's a good prediction. Yeah.
I think that's what it's going to be. Because
Yeah,
I'm not going to say that they can't score. It just depends on how the Chiefs defense is going to handle Love.
Well, I just think that the Kansas City Chiefs defense is not as strong as it has been in the past. And they give up big plays. You can run on that defense. The Raiders proved it. You can run on that defense. But it just takes Mahomes to come and work his magic to help him win the game. I think it'll be 35-26. Yeah, 35-27.
35-27?
Yeah, I think it'll be a touchdown. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, of course.
let's see.
Try to score late in the game.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
So stay tuned. Catch us on Thursday Night Football, because we got to cover the Seahawks versus the Cowboys. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And you follow us on all social media platforms. We are on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at Recap Sports Focus.
Recap Sports Focus. No cap, all facts. And we in the building.
See ya. What's good? If y'all like what y'all saw today, be sure to hit that subscribe button.